Okay, some of you have been waiting for this video, and I'm here to give it to you. So this is a box sent to me by Amentu. They're a relatively new company. They're from Idaho, and they only ship to the USA. Let's see what they sent me. Sent me a magazine, which is awesome. We will go over this. Wow, very, very stiff. Sent me a hat. That's badass. Okay. And a shirt. Also badass. Definitely will wear this. Black Guns Matter. That's funny. Now, he sent me this stuff for the intent of the review. I asked him if it would run good in blackout, or 300 blackout, or with 300 blackout. Gave me a bunch of stickers to give out. That's cool. And some, I think iron-ons, or maybe some windshield stickers. But they do have a lot of cool merchandise, and definitely check it out. They have gun bags, they have, you know, obviously hats and shirts. They're a company that supports the Second Amendment, as indicated by their name. In the future, they will be offering not only the 30-round magazines, they'll be offering a 20-round version and a 10-round version of this magazine. And then also in the future, there will be a 308 version, 308 Winchester version. They also said they're planning on getting into the AK magazine game. So I did not pay for these things, just as a, what is it, a disclaimer. I mean, I guess it's kind of sponsored because they sent this to me for free, and I'm not returning these things, so I guess it's kind of a very small sponsorship, very proudly made in the USA right there. They do have indents for the magazine loader, so it does have a different angle follower, like the tilt is a little bit different. It's supposedly setting it apart from other magazines. There's a dot matrix in the bottom. It's a very large one. You can write whatever you want on there. You could probably write some dirty things on there. They do come in black, OD green, and sort of FDE or tan, whatever you want to call it. Now, this cut right here is not intended for a dust cover. They said that they wanted to have the option in the future to include a dust cover of some sort, so maybe in the future that will, you know, act as a dust cover indent, but for now that does not operate that way. They have different color floor plates. They have black, zombie green, ghost white, dark earth, and desert sand. Now, I will say the mold lines present on the magazine are pretty pronounced, which is not a big deal. That is something I would like them to kind of maybe focus on in the future, but right now their main focus is getting their product out there and to the people, so I understand that. How to disassemble this magazine is actually pretty simple. This little 2 right here, you just push it in. It's just like every other magazine, pretty much in that regard. This is actually a feature, well, if you'd call it that. This is makes it to where the follower can't go down past a certain round count. But other than that rivet, all the dimensions and all the parts are exactly the same, which is good, because there are some companies that are just literally making it impossible to convert without actually obtaining more parts. Here's their little logo there. Let's see if you can see the mold here, mold lines. They're very prominent, but not a huge deal. And the texture on the outside of the body feels very nice and like positive. Like the magazine feels a little bit larger than like maybe say a Magpul magazine. Let's go over some comparisons here. Here is HexMag first. Here's HexMag versus the Amentu here. The texture is much more aggressive on the Amentu. There's not really much texture at all on the HexMag. It's kind of like a smooth, sort of matte feeling finish. Kind of like it feels like it was kind of like spray painted in a way. And this feels like an actual molded in texture. So let's compare it with the Magpul magazine. And it's not that much larger. And as you can see, like depending on which one I hold in which hand, it kind of makes them appear larger than each other. And that's an optical illusion. But you can see it's about maybe like a millimeter or 2 longer. But the overall dimensions are similar. I'm sure this would fit fine in any of the mag pouches this would fit in. And the texture actually, it's a little bit less aggressive than the Magpul, but this texture on this magazine feels grippier. This magazine is more comfortable in the hand, but this one you feel like someone would be harder pressed to pry this out of my hands than this. Like just how it where it hits in your hand. So more positive grip for mag insertion, and the bottom is not sharp by any means, so you could tap it in there comfortably. This is definitely more rounded off and would be more comfortable for that, but this is a wider and flatter base plate, so that's something to be said. So now let's compare it with these magazines and how it inserts into the two ARs that I have. This first AR, it has a looser magwell. Okay, there's the hex mag. Got some wobble. This one is actually loaded. Less wobble, but I'm sure that's attributed to the fact that it has ammunition in it. And we'll load this one up in a second here. Definitely, it's less wobbly this way, like up and down, like right here. And I think more wobbly. Yeah, a little bit more wobbly front to back than it is side to side than the other magazines. Yeah, definitely. But that just means it can fit more guns, basically. Let's see if it does drop free. Easily drops free. Now let's test it in the gun that usually is a little more picky. This one's a similar build, but okay. Drops free empty, and just to compare it against the others, definitely tighter in all regards. Okay. Yeah, definitely a little bit looser than the other magazines, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It does have reinforcements right here, and on the actual magazine catch area where it actually engages, and it has a nice little over insertion stop. And this spine actually right here makes it to where it would be pretty hard pressed to go past that as well. These are all reloads, and these are some of my older reloads, but they have no problem feeding in any other magazine. So let's see how positive they are. It seems pretty positive. And see if we experience any kind of dragging sensation or binding. And we'll see how many... Now, I will tell you that rivet actually feels like it's hitting the spring occasionally. So, like right there, it felt like the rivet's hitting the spring. So, okay, so that's all I'll accept. So it is indeed a 15-round magazine. Seems like the rounds are perfectly like straight in there. With the hex mag, I'll show you right now. The hex mag, it seems a little bit weirder. But let's, normally I would just pop out the base plate and let the rounds fall out, but since I can't get the follower out, since the rivet's in there, right there, I can't do that. Let's see, as a comparison, with the hex mag, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Definitely feels rougher to get him into this hex mag. 13. I have to push much harder. 14. Even with 15 rounds. I don't know if you can tell, but they kind of are angled off to the right a little bit. At least the second one is. First one's kind of towed in a little bit. So it is pushing on the rounds a little bit. And this magazine actually is advertised for 300 blackout now on the packaging. You can see the rigidity of the mag bodies. I'm going to try to flex it. Okay, this is the hex mag. Seems like I can flex that quite a bit. This is the mag pull. A little bit harder. Can't flex the bottom at all. Let's try the Amend 2 magazine. I know we can't get it fully out, but we can get an idea. I'd say it's about in the middle of these two in terms of that. And about the middle of that too. So in between these two magazines, this is kind of like the middle ground so far in terms of rigidity. Well, comparatively speaking, the hex mag is the easiest to take apart. Then would be the mag pull, and then would be this. Just for the simple fact that This is an opening that can be depressed with like your pinky, or like squeeze your finger in there, or just, you know. Now, typically, if you have a magazine, you'd have rounds, and typically they would be pointed to some degree, right? And this is intended for 5.56 223, so it would be very easy to take down this magazine. So all it's left to really do is just tell you how it shoots, how it functions, and that will be in a future video, so stay tuned. This was the Amend 2 magazine, made in the USA in Idaho, and I'm digging it. Have a good day, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video.